So today I'm joined by Shawn DuBravac. He's the chief economist for IPC. Nice to see you, Shawn.
Great to see you.
Yeah. So we're at a time where we've literally come post-COVID, supply chain starting to even out a bit, but we've got a lot of people talking about a potential recession on the horizon, and it's even starting to, rear its head with some of the larger companies making layoffs in the last couple of weeks. Where do you see it? What visibility have you got going forward?
So if you look at broadly, economic growth was definitely slower in 2022 than we had anticipated at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. We're anticipating quite slow growth in 2023 for the year, and much of that weakness will show up in the first half of the year. We think Europe is probably flat to slightly down for the year.
Right.
The U.S. is probably barely positive for the year. If you look specifically at the industry, I think there are a number of headwinds, and there's also some tailwinds as well. So you hit on some of those tailwinds.
Right.
Supply chain dynamics have improved significantly, and with that, we've seen costs come down. Mm-hmm. Transportation costs are down significantly from the peak, from where they were.
Yep.
We've seen the availability of components and of supplies has improved drastically. Mm-hmm. So the kind of the stock out environment that we were living in there for a little while has eased. So those are some good tailwinds. Yeah. Backlogs still look pretty healthy, and so companies are working through those, and order flow, at least for now, is looking okay. Companies seem optimistic about that. But yes, the headwinds are this broader macroeconomic environment, a general slowdown. You've got war in Ukraine that continues to weigh on not just Europe, but also other parts of the world because of the geopolitical uncertainty that it creates. And so I think there is just a general uneasiness about this broader slowdown, and that makes people a little uneasy. Right. I like to say that we're doing a very good job of talking ourselves into recession, and you see CEOs and other executives that are perhaps apprehensive to make investments. Certainly at the end of 2022, we saw a lot of companies hold off on some investments, waiting for the new year. They want a little more visibility. And I think if we can move past this period in the first half of the year to where executives feel a little bit better, organizations feel like they can make some investments, then I think we could see things pick up a little bit in the back half. As long as there's this uncertainty, though, I think it's going to be hard to move forward.
I mean, it's a kind of strange environment because usually, recessions are coupled with, high unemployment and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Unemployment, generally speaking, is still relatively high. The only area where it's been tailing off recently has been in the front-end consumer products, cell phones, computers, that type of thing. But again, these are cyclical things. They could come back again, post the summer, Q3, Q4 next year. I don't know. I mean, but some people are talking recession. Some people are talking crash. I mean, interest rates are a very blunt weapon to use in this.
They are.
And I don't know if they're really being that effective.
Yeah, I think you definitely do have some cohort of both companies in our industry and companies outside of our industry that are worried about a very deep and prolonged contraction. I'm not in that camp. I think we see a period of economic malaise. We see, deterioration certainly from where we were in 2022, which is worse than we were in 2021, ironically, even though we were in the immediate shadows of the pandemic. But at the same time, and you hit on a big piece of that power and that force, is that employment still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And so companies are still hiring, and it's hard to imagine that you can have a deep, prolonged recession without significant unemployment. And the job cuts that we've seen thus far, even big job cuts from big tech companies, isn't enough to get me worried yet.
Right.
We expect unemployment to creep up this year, but it's still looking like it will probably peak out at levels well below what we've seen in other recessions. We certainly don't see the type of downturn that we saw in 07 and 09 for the financial crisis.
No, I mean, I think honestly, we're also in a period of great innovation in the electronics industry.
Yes,
we've got a huge number of new products coming into the pipeline that we didn't have before. So the actual volume of electronics manufacturing is increasing exponentially.
Yes,
and that is going to be another thing that will offset any potential downturn, specifically in our community.
Yeah, and if you look at some of those trends, those are seismic trends that are not going to happen in just 6 months or 12 months, but these are decade-long transitions.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of industries that are seeking to become more sustainable. They're switching to alternative energy sources, and at the root of all of that are electronics, moving towards EVs, moving towards renewables, and so I think that piece of the market is going to do well. Obviously, defense has seen a lot of investment as it relates to rebuilding stock and then just being aware of the geopolitical concerns. Yeah. So that segment has done quite well. You hit on it already. It's been the consumer market, which grew quite well in the immediate aftermath of the pandemic. We've seen some of that, some of that growth pulled back, but there are other segments that are doing quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's not all doom and gloom. There's still some nice rosy things on the horizon, and long may it continue. Anything else out there that you think is significant that might affect the industry going forward?
Well, so IPC publishes research every single month. The best way to kind of keep on tap and know what's coming and really see whether things are getting worse or getting better is to take a look at some of that research. We publish an economic outlook every month that we update. We publish sentiment data and sentiment indices every month. So that, to me, is a really good barometer to measure how the industry is feeling. And then you can measure your own emotions and your own expectations against what the broader industry is feeling. Those are all global reports. So regardless of where you are in the world, you can access that. And so I think it's good to have those as part of your monthly cadence, and it will help you work through all of the details of the year ahead.
Great. Well, that's great advice, and thank you for all the work you do with IPC, and thank you for coming in and talking to us about it today.
Yeah, great to see you. Glad to be here.
The Arch FX manufacturing platform, processing over 1 trillion data points each month, bringing value to every level of your organization. That's manufacturing insights for tomorrow.
At Kaizen, we know it's the science that makes the difference. The right solutions happen when you care enough to ask the right questions. And we understand that your performance is directly related to ours. Science knows why it works, care knows why it's important. Expand your inspection capabilities. Inspect in 5 directions using top and 4-angled cameras simultaneously. Find defects that a single camera can't detect, such as OCR and QFN solder bridge. Best in class performance 18 megapixel sensor.